This week on the podcast, Carrie and I are sharing our thoughts about Once Upon a Studio. If you haven't watched it, go watch it now. Pause the podcast, go watch it, and then come back and listen. We're full of spoilers here. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us. But it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Hello, my friend.
Hello, long time no podcast, pal.
Doesn't it feel so weird?
It does.
It feels like it's been forever since we recorded, but it really hasn't been that long
ago.
No, but because we spent so long doing it like every week, it feels long.
It does. Feels like it's weird.
It is. But have you noticed like the work, like it's manageable?
Yes, it is for sure.
It's so much more manageable. So I'm very glad that we made this call.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the fact that I feel like I miss talking to you sometimes.
Yeah, because we had to talk a lot because we had to do it every week. We had to.
Yeah, but you know what happened? We'd be like, oh, we got to record. So we're going to record on Saturday. Yeah. And then we'd spend 3 hours talking before we recorded.
Right.
Yeah. Today we kind of
half an hour or so.
That's what happens. But that's okay.
Yeah.
So we did, what was the feedback you got on the puzzle podcast?
I heard that we informed quite a few people on the world of competitive puzzling.
It's shockingly not a lot of people knew that was a thing.
But I don't know. I think people thought it was fun and interesting. Yeah,
I think so too. Like, honestly, I had feedback from people that were like, same thing. I didn't realize that it was a thing. And other people that remembered the episodes where you were talking about it and how excited you were when you discovered this competition and enrolled in it.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear it kind of come full circle, and then to hear how well you did, like people were invested in the journey from, the beginning to the end.
I wonder if we inspired anybody to puzzle.
That would be fun to know. Were there people that just, pulled out a puzzle after
like
the
all this puzzle talk? They're like, oh, let me find that Disney puzzle I bought, 3 years ago.
Maybe. You never know. I think maybe you did inspire, and it was fun. It was fun having Glenn on, and you guys did so well. And I'm just, it's so fun to hear that, you gave a little education, Carrie, on things that aren't Disney related. You're just like a wealth of knowledge.
Right.
Right? About stickers, the subscription stickers. You taught us that. Yeah. Now you teach us about puzzles. Like there's all sorts of things.
Yeah. What's next? Who knows? Maybe how to track down the people from Cobra Kai. That's next on our list. We've got to go find them. I did Google it to see where they were. I don't think that they're anywhere until maybe into the new year.
Yeah. We'll find them. We'll find them.
Or next year for our Comic-Con or whatever it's called, Fan Expo.
You think they'll be here? Well, I guess, because when does Cobra Kai come back?
I don't know. I thought
like these kids are going to be middle-aged by the time the next season comes out. Forget being high school
January
kids.
Or December. I don't even know what season it is. There's been so many of them now. I don't even know what season.
I don't know, but they're all just so good, and it's like the perfect binge watching. Wasn't it over the holidays last year that it came out?
I think so.
Because I feel like it was over the holidays that I binged it. Because it's, again, one of those things where they drop all the episodes together, so you just sit down and watch them all.
Yeah. So Netflix does, not Disney.
No, Disney doesn't do that.
Once a week. Ugh.
I know. But you know what? I haven't been watching much Disney Plus.
I watched I went to my aunt's house last weekend or well, whatever, since I've been back from my travels and puzzle competitions. And I watched the whole last season of Only Murders in the Building. I was the whole season, like there's 10 episodes. I just sat at her house and watched them all.
Really? And is it that good? I watched, I think, the first episode when it came out, and I never went back.
And
really?
You know what I find now? Like, it's like, yeah, there's all kinds of people in it. Like Meryl Streep's in the next Meryl Sheep from Sesame Street, or like on Sesame Street, they'd have like a sheep and her name would be Meryl Sheep.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so yeah, like there's all kinds of people on the episodes now, because it's like it's funny and everybody wants to be part of it, I guess. So like Paul Rudd's in the last season. He's
really
Ant-Man,
He's the Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that one. See, I know who he is because I've seen that movie. He's a superhero. So yeah,
they're very good, and they're funny. Like you can't go wrong with
well, it's Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Yeah,
right.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, they're hilarious. Hilarious.
It's very good. So that's something you should put that on your binge watching list. The episodes aren't very long. They can't be, because there's no way I didn't sit there for 10 hours and watch that. There may be like 35 or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear, like, from our listeners, what are they watching now on TV? Because I'm kind of over the whole regular programming, meaning like regular network television. I know you don't have cable, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. But it used to be that every September in the fall, all the new seasons would start. So I love shows like Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Blue Bloods, the one with Tom Selleck about the police and stuff like that, right? Law and Order, like all of those. You sense the theme coming in here.
Mm-hmm. And in uniform.
Men in uniform, pretty much. Firemen, police, ambulance. So I love those shows, but they all started in September, and then they would go till the spring, and then they would take a hiatus for the summer. But now it's like there's no schedule. So you could watch them 2 Wednesdays in a row, and then for 4 weeks, there's no episode, and then it comes back. Like there's no rhyme or reason. I can't be doing with that. I need to know that every Friday I'm going to get a little Tom Selleck. And yeah, it's so I don't think now I'm seeing ads that they're all coming back on. And I don't think I'm going to go back. I don't think I'm going to go back. I think I'm done. I think I'm just going to watch streaming stuff.
Yeah, that's what everybody else is doing, I think.
So, Fran, welcome.
Yeah, I think the last thing I watched was probably, I'd watched Big Bang when it was live, and I watched Once Upon a Time when it was live, but I had to go to my sister's house because she had cable and I didn't. But...
I mean, aside from Coronation Street, and even like the Real Housewives, I'm barely even watching them. Oh, my Below Deck. That's the other one. So that's like my
Survivor
guilty
too, right?
Believe it or not, I have not watched the last 2 seasons of Survivor.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. It was just becoming too much in the schedule, and I couldn't do it. And now I'm kind of like, meh. I don't feel like I'm missing it. So yeah.
I think there was nothing like having a show that you look forward to every week like that. Like,
yes.
And I'm sure the streaming services have just wrecked that completely, because I don't want to wait for anything. But I remember how excited I was for every single week of Once Upon a Time.
Right.
And like I said, I went to my sister's house to watch it and then I would leave directly after, because that zombie show came on after they watched that zombie show. So like it would go straight from my show to zombies, and I'd be like, bye guys, see you next Sunday. And I would be out the door so quick. They'd watch The Walking Dead afterwards, because it would be
yeah.
It was on HBO or whatever channel it was on. They switched over to that. But to really be excited and can't wait, and the schedule would be regular, so it would be true, legit, like excitement for just the next week. But now I don't know that any of us have like the patience, or we're just so we have like everything you want can just be binge watched so quickly that.
Yeah. And there really isn't a good set schedule for all of these things anymore. Like there's no real seasons that they're doing on some of these shows anymore. And they're, yeah. Like, and maybe that's part of how we grew up. Like, I don't know about you, but I remember like Friday nights in my house, it was a big deal. We had to have dinner done at a certain time and everybody in for the night. And we'd be, in our jammies in front of the TV for Dallas. Like, that's it. We were all sitting around watching Dallas every Friday night. It was a big deal. And it was kind of your family time too. Everybody came together to watch the show or watch whatever was going on. Yeah. And yeah, now it seems like it's just everywhere. So it's really disrupted it.
Well, I wonder how many people, like a lot of people must still watch stuff together, but it's so easy just to binge watch whenever you feel like it, right? Whether you're doing homework or you're working or you're, you just squeeze it in before bed or you should be sleeping or whatever. Like it's on our phones, for goodness sakes. Everything we need, we can watch it right on our phones. There's no reason to sit in the living room in front of a big TV.
Exactly. And so weird. My gosh. And you and I are both terrible for that. We both have a problem of scrolling in bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's hard. Although now I'm less distracted by it because I actually can't see without my glasses. So if I'm lying in bed scrolling, there's only certain things I can watch because I can't read if there's captions. I can't there's only so many things.
Oh my goodness.
Oy. But I miss like having those kind of emotional connections to certain shows and programs and things like that. So I'd love to hear what people are watching and let us know if there's a show or a series or something that's kind of a feel good. Plus, I think my mindset has shifted. I don't want to watch the negative, sad stories anymore. I used to be really addicted to those, like all the bad shows, not bad shows, but the shows that told bad stories, or not happy stories. Anyway, whatever. They're not Disney. Let's talk about a happy one.
Sure. We should talk about, have we talked about Disney?
Yeah, we were going to talk today about Once Upon a Studio. Yeah. So speaking of like shows things that tug on the heartstrings, make you feel good. Once Upon a Studio, we saw it at the D23 and we did talk about it on the podcast, but at that time it wasn't available for everyone to see.
Yeah.
So now that it's out, it's online, everybody can watch it.
It's on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus. It is everything that a Disney fan could ever have hoped for and then more.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. And it's not very long. It's only a little tiny short.
Yes.
But it's packed full of goodness.
And
emotions.
Is it terrible that I'm sitting here thinking, how do we get those creators to, could we be as lucky as someone sending them our podcast about our adoration for this, that we could get to talk to them?
I think we're pushing it there.
I think so a little bit. But Carrie, like, this is everything that Disney fans wanted. So for people, whether you've seen it or not, you should go back to Disney Plus and look at it if you haven't seen it.
I think that people have seen it, have watched it multiple times.
Exactly.
Over and over and over again.
So the question is, how many times did you cry?
I don't know. I maybe got a little teary-eyed when we saw it at Destination D, but
oh yeah, I was pretty teary-eyed at Destination D, and then I tear up. I get a big lump in my throat every time I watch it because it's so beautifully done. It's got everything. So let's talk about some of the stuff that it has in it.
Sounds good.
Okay, so it features. Do you know how many characters are in this?
999.
They're not happy hunts. Oh. But 543 Disney characters from more than 85 feature-length and short films.
That's crazy.
Is that not insane?
I wouldn't have 540.
543.
Holy smokes.
Right?
I think I want to try to count them.
Well, yeah, like it's so insane when you think about that. 543 characters. How is that even possible? But that's including like the final scene and all the characters that are out front.
And this video was to celebrate the 100 years of the Walt Disney Company.
Yes.
So and they released it on the
100th birthday, which is October 16th. Just in case anybody didn't know, that's the exact date.
The exact date. Because, I might happen to share a celebration with that. with them. All good things are born on October 16th. And the Walt Disney Company was
one of them.
The second awesome thing that happened on that day.
Yeah, it's so to celebrate the 100th, the first scene. So Carrie, like that gets me now more when I know the story of who is in that first scene. So it's a young girl and an older gentleman that start the short.
Right. And they're at the Walt Disney Studios in California, coming out of the animation building.
And it's the real studios. It's not like it's a green screen or whatever. Like they're in the real studios. And the older gentleman is an animator. And I had it right here, Bernie Madison. And he worked for the Walt Disney Company for 70 years.
That's
70 years. He directed Mickey's Christmas Carol and The Great Mouse Detective, like a bunch of different things he did. And he appears as himself at the beginning. And he's the one that says, if these walls could talk. So he's like, I have goosebumps even just saying this to you. He passed away before the film was released, before the short was released, but he did apparently get to see a rough cut of it before he passed. So, yeah.
It's very cool. And it's dedicated to him. Like at the very end, it's dedicated. I think it's at the very end, not at the front. It's dedicated.
Yes. Yes.
That's very cool. Yeah. I did read up and watch some videos on him and his story and how like I think it was that like his mom dropped him off to get a job and he delivered mail or something like that. And you think 70 years later, like he was only weeks or months or whatever, whenever his birthday was, like shy of getting the very first 70 year employee, like the only and the first 70-year employee at the Walt Disney Company.
Isn't that insane?
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, all of the stuff that he did in his journey.
Yeah.
How I think, what did he advise? Like, even how he advised on some of the last things that have been made, like before, years before he died, he was still working and advising and helping along with some of the newest films, which is so cool.
It's so cool to think of, like,
and the people that got to work with him. It would have been. Yeah. Like, imagine their experience working with someone like that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like, he was hired in 1953 at the Walt Disney Company. Like, it's so insane to think about, like the impact that he would have had in there. And then for him to basically open this film with a young, like it's supposed to be, I guess, a young animator, the young just coming in, starting out, and then him, the one with all the history. Like, it's just like, it's so amazing. So awesome. So awesome. So that's one of the very cool things about this. They also, they made sure to bring in Ub Iwerks as well. So there is a picture of Ub Iwerks drawing Mickey Mouse that's hanging on the wall next to the elevator. In one of my favorite scenes in this whole thing is the elevator. It is absolutely classic. Donald Duck getting in the elevator with a bunch of characters, and he has to hold the elevator for the sloth from Zootopia? Flash. And he's getting angrier and angrier. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh every time I see it.
One of my favorite parts with those characters is when Ka is going down the hall with
Clarabelle.
With Clarabelle, and he's like, trust in me. And then whoever, I don't know what one of the characters is yelling at him, and Rapunzel says, don't worry, I'll take care of this, and she's got her frying pan, and then she walks out of the screen, and you hear her bang him on his head, and then he stops with the Clarabelle trance.
Yes. Oh, I love that part. And the way that they intertwined the characters. Like, there were characters that would never be seen together.
Well, and they know each other. That's the part that I think is awesome too. Like, they're all chit-chatting and referencing each other's lives or whatever, when you would think that they never would even know each other, but like, it's like they're friends. Like, they're long lost friends, and they're talking like they've known each other for all of their respective lives or whatever. And I thought that was kind of neat, like that it's sort of like, they do know each other.
Yeah. And it's almost kind of got like a Toy Story feel in terms of, everybody leaves the building, and then they're all like, it's safe to come out. And then they all jump out of their pictures and their cells on the walls. And to your point, like they're all friends. They all know each other, and not necessarily friends, because there's some that don't look like they would be.
They all know each other.
They know each other, but they're not necessarily all friendly with each other. Like when she says, do you think all the villains are going to come?
Mm-hmm.
And Elsa's like, no, not all, or something like that. And then she freezes him, Hans in the picture.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So there's one. So apparently when they were doing this, I looked something up, and it said basically they had a big whiteboard with all the characters they wanted to include and the ones that they were missing. And they were trying to figure out how they were going to incorporate them, or what was the story to get them. And Chernabog,
mm-hmm.
They had literally, he had written next to it, never going to happen. He's the size of a mountain. Right? So how do you fit a mountain inside the studio? And that's when they came up with the idea of the Dalmatians watching Fantasia.
Yeah.
So that they could incorporate
the scary dude.
Yeah. The big scary dude. But they didn't need him to be the size of a mountain because he was on the TV. And that's how they managed to get him in the show. Like, how cool is that? Very cool. So amazing that so that was kind of a fun thing. I loved the scene where they had the Mad Hatter with Flounder.
Mm.
Right? And Merlin giving him like the water and the hat, and like just the way they had that all come together was just brilliant.
Kind of reminds me of like Wreck-It Ralph, like the Wreck-It Ralph 2 when they all go in the video games and they're in that like middle zone where like they all know each other. Pac-Man and Q-Bert is playing with, Donkey Kong or whatever. It kind of thinks like there's this animated other world where they all just they're all friends, along, but they all just exist.
Yeah. I love that. I love that idea that they're all just sort of like they're friends, like they know about each other. And I think that's so fantastic. And to see them like that. And also the fact that they did like the 3D or the new form, the CGI animation for those characters that were born that way. But for the ones that were hand-drawn animation, they were the flat animate. Like they stayed true to how they were originally drawn.
Yeah.
So they really did have their character, like their full, like their real character.
They all looked the way they were supposed to look.
Yeah. And then, so they did Robin Williams. So they made a point of, I think you obviously know this one, but just in case people didn't know, it is actually Robin Williams' voice as the genie, but it's an unheard version. So the version that they used in the movie for the genie was one that it was unused audio that he had recorded for the original Aladdin. So it's not one of the clips that's been used thousands of times. It was unused, so it was brand new. It was kind of like he had recorded a brand new version.
That's cool.
Now, this one I did not catch originally until I was looking at this. But before the genie comes out, so it's Olaf is sketching, and then the genie comes out and Olaf breaks apart or whatever. But in that same scene, right before Olaf or before the genie comes out, is an unnamed lost boy.
Oh.
And that lost boy was the Robin Williams Lost Boy character from Back to Neverland that ran as part of the Magic of Disney animation attraction at Hollywood Studios. So way back at Hollywood Studios when they had that attraction, and it was a film about how the characters came to life, Robin Williams voiced a lost boy. And that is the lost boy character they used in that scene before the genie comes out. So it's basically two of Robin Williams' characters.
I was thinking more of that scene. I was like, is that somebody's office? Like, I wonder if that's somebody, like, is that somebody's special, like someone's office that, we need to know if that was an office and it belonged to something or it had history or whatever. But
on the desk, like, is that somebody's desk? It probably is. Like, there are so many little Easter eggs and things, like they went out of their way to make sure that it was like every emotional tie was represented. Insane. So then there's the Mickey. Like we can't talk about this without talking about the Mickey. The scene
when Mickey sees Walt's picture on the wall.
Yeah. It's like, honestly, when he just looks up at him and then you hear that music. And like I can feel it. Like I can feel the lump of my throat even just thinking about it.
Well, and I think when we first saw it at Destination D, we were so excited and so overwhelmed and seeing all the characters fly by that scene was like, we all understood that scene clearly. Yes. And that's where the emotions could be. Whereas when you watch it over and over again, you get excited about that's an amazing scene, but you get so excited noticing the details and feeling emotions in other ways. But when we saw it for the first time, so excited, like that scene's like hitting a brick wall, right? Like all of a sudden you immediately know what it means. You hear the Feed the Birds music, and it's sad and touching and then everybody's crying.
Oh yeah. Everybody bawling. So that one thing that, people may or may not know is that Feed the Birds was Walt's favorite song. Like, he loved that song. And the songwriting duo behind that was, of course, the Sherman Brothers, who wrote lots and lots and lots of songs for him. But the story goes that Walt would occasionally walk into their office and simply just say to them, play it. And they would play Feed the Birds for him. And that just made him so happy. And sometimes they would come into his office and play it for him as well. And he had a piano there that they would play for him. So when they recorded that music to play in this short, they did it right. They had Richard Sherman himself come and play it on the piano in Walt's office to record that snippet of music for this short. Like, that's the Disney difference, Carrie. That nobody would, like, lots of people watching this short would just say, oh, look at, Mickey not giving a nod to Walt. That's the difference, is that kind of history that they put into it that people may or may not even know the significance of that.
Awesome.
It is. It's just, it's so incredible. It's so incredible. Yeah, that's, so yeah. And I was so excited to see that scene. And then it just goes into such a happy, like there's so much happiness and joy and Goofy. Like Goofy is the perfect one to be the photographer, Carrie, the perfect one.
Something's going wrong.
Yeah. And then for how they brought everything back together, like how they bring in the characters to fix it and put it back together, and only fitting that Eeyore is like, maybe we'll try next year. Like,
we'll try in another 100 years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! And I love that Pooh Bear was stuck in the window or in the thing, and they're trying to pull him out. Oh, somebody's at my door. We're just going to ignore that because it's probably somebody with some flyer or pamphlet. Carrie, like, what was your, and of course Oswald makes an appearance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome.
Like that was just, and Pete's dragon, and like, so who were your favorites?
I liked Oswald. I liked how they had like Jiminy Cricket when he came in and sang. I really liked that. I really liked that part. And I liked how they had up like they had people swirling up in the animation words up on the building. Like I really liked the details around that. I thought that was neat. I don't know. I think I've watched it like the day that it came on Disney Plus. I think I sat and watched it like 5 times in a row in my office, and I just couldn't believe how I kept seeing more and more stuff. Like when at one point there's a bunch of male. They're in the men's room or something because it's it's like and I noticed like Thomas O'Malley's in there or whatever. I really like that. I keep seeing more characters, and when you say there's all those characters, like there's way more to even find.
There are, like, you can't, because you miss them. Like, you're right, that scene in the men's room when Minnie comes in and she's like, let's go.
That's right. She's trying to
get them all out. But Gaston is the focal point because he's singing into the mirror that everybody wants to be him, but you miss all of the others that are standing around him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's insanity to me how many characters that they had that sort of interacted with each other that I never, like, you would never think to put together.
They did a good job.
They did an amazing job.
And I did like the Dalmatian scene with Chernabog on the TV and it getting really scary and those little.
And then who was it? One of them said to them, "You're going to get nightmares." Yeah. That was so fabulous.
Mm-hmm. There's so much, too many things to pick favorites.
I know. Although I do like, of course, the Walt and Mickey scene is everything to me. I absolutely love Pooh Bear being stuck in the wall. Donald Duck just makes me laugh. Like, it's so flippin' funny how angry he's getting at the elevator. And then, like I found myself, I know we saw it at D23, but then when I was watching it, like I found myself cheering for different ones when I saw, like, when you notice somebody different, and I was like, Pete's Dragon, like it was just, Alice in Wonderland, or like, it was just, there were just so many great ones.
I like how they had Scar Wreck-It Ralph runs into the door.
Oh, and he calls him Garfield?
and Scar's like, I'm surrounded by idiots. And then he's like, way to go, Garfield, or whatever.
It was, like they had so many of their classic lines in there too. And it was just fitting that it was the right people. Like they had the Fix-It Felix come in to fix the camera. Like,
they got everybody to do everything. Like there should be no skill or no requirements not available with that gang of.
It was amazing. So if you haven't seen it, You got to go watch it.
Watch it a couple times. It's
couple
only a few
times.
minutes long.
Yes, and let us know
characters.
Yeah, I want to hear what everybody else's sort of favorite things were. Because there's just so many great ones. Cool. Well, I think we've covered the big Easter eggs that are important for people to look out for, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure there's probably a whole bunch of Easter eggs that are just in there for the people that created it too. Like no one would ever know except for like, why they put things in certain places or,
Oh, I'm sure.
But anyways.
Like even, the sister from Encanto, the strong one, you know how she carries all those, like in Encanto, she carries like all the, I can't remember what animal, cows.
She carry cows or
yeah. But
or something? In
this short, if you look, she's carrying all the cows from Home on the Range.
Right.
So it's not the cows from Encanto, but she's carrying cows. Like
that's how you get all those different characters in there.
Exactly. And even like in the elevator, you're looking in the elevator and it's like the mother from Rapunzel, and I think it's like the guy from Brother Bear and somebody from Tarzan, and like it's just perfect. It's just perfect. It couldn't be more perfect.
I agree.
Love it. Love it. All right, Carrie.
Yep. We're done?
Well, no, we're not done because we got to talk pixie dust.
Oh,
it's important. What was your pixie dust this week? What brought you some joy?
Well, my pixie dust has been giving me joy for a couple of weeks because after all these years, I became a Costco member.
Me too. I did the same.
There's like a Costco, like I've been to Costco lots of times, but with other people, like with my mom and stuff. But there's a Costco a couple minutes from my work. Like if I don't get any lights, or like I could be at this Costco in about 4 minutes. Like it's very, very close. So like it's very easy to go up and go for lunch and eat all the free samples, or go up because you might need the odd thing and you just browse a little bit, see what's on sale because they always have all those things that have the coupons off.
Right.
So I went to Costco quite a few times in the last couple of weeks. I went and bought stuff for work because there's good stuff for my work, but there's also, I went up for lunch maybe twice.
Nice.
I work a few times. So
now, does your Costco do the hot dogs and that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, hot dogs,
like their food court. Yeah,
poutine,
cool,
ice cream,
cool.
It's and it's not very busy up there compared to the other Costco, so it's a very nice experience.
So
it's a win-win. You spend too much money.
That's
Even
awesome.
when you go in to buy only a few things, it still works out to a lot of money because everything's so big.
It is
like enough paper towel for the whole year.
But so this one is one. It's not a business center. It's like a full Costco.
A real Costco, a full Costco.
I have a business center that's near me, so it doesn't have everything in it. And then the full Costco's further up the road, but it's like insanity.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Like crazy. It's like crazy people's.
Yeah, the Costco where you live just generally would be like total other level than ours. Like, and ours are busy enough. So
I need to come out and see yours. I need
the
to
one
see
up by my work is it is legit like a ghost town.
Well, how did they stay open then?
Compared to like the one that would be in Toronto.
Right.
It's not. It's busy. It's got to be busy, but I think because they're developing up there, like in the future, there'll be.
It'll be a much
and things like that up there, but for now, it's quite a nice experience. Mm-hmm. You go up at lunchtime and there's almost like there's nobody there. Like you don't have to worry. You don't have to. There's people there, but it's not like when you go in and it's just it's packed. There's people everywhere. It's not like that. Like it's just kind of normal. So if you ever want to come out my way, go Costco.
Yeah, I may need to. So your Costco membership is like
Costco.
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah, it'll take me longer to drive to you, but it's probably the same amount of time I'd stand in line at mine.
Probably.
Yeah, like it's Andrew and I went up one night, and it's a bit stressful pushing the cart through because there's so many people. Like, it's so easy to run over somebody's foot.
Yeah.
But I mean, we just take our time and just dilly dally and, just schmooze through. I got mine because I wanted that trail mix that they sell.
I don't even know what it is. I was there a couple times. I didn't see it. I saw granola bars, Kirkland granola bars.
Yeah. So I bought the Kirkland granola bars, and they're really good too. The chocolate dip ones. Although, I take them to work, and then people say to me, like, Fran, these are not healthy. Like, if you think this is you being healthy, it's not. But yeah, no, I'll show you. It's like they're called Kirkland, and it's trail mix. It's really good. It's like peanuts, like all different kinds of peanuts. It has raisins. It has chocolate. Very good. Very, very good. And it's in like little individual packages. So you're not going to.
I did not. I knew you said they were in individual packages, but I can't find them at mine. Maybe that's the thing with mine. Maybe ours got sucky.
These are the things that Carrie and I talk about. Moving off the shelf, because there's like probably more people in yours in like one afternoon than mine has like in 3 days. Yeah, I know, right?
So
very good.
So what's your pixie dust?
My pixie dust is I joined a new group on Facebook.
Oh.
Called the Regal Beagle. And Carrie, I saw somebody post something about Three's Company, and I saw it was a group, and I joined it. And I can't tell you how much joy this stuff on Facebook. Like, my Facebook feed is like full of Three's Company stuff, and it is like people like me. So somebody will post like a screen grab of an episode, and then everybody else is just going in like line for line. We know exactly what the next line is going to be of the character. It's so much fun. And it's like little tidbits from, like people have done over the years, or people have been out to shows or events where they've met some of the stars from Three's Company. So they have pictures with them. And, I sent you one the other day. Like, we got to find where this is. Like, apparently these are real things. And they are like Mrs. Roper's bar crawl. And it's all these women who dress up as Mrs. Roper. So like in the big outfit with the hair and the big flowy, what are they called? Cans? Moo-moos? The big colorful moo-moo with the jewelry. And they go on a pub crawl.
That's fun.
And so I sent you a picture the other day of all these women that are dressed as Mrs. Roper, and said we should try this because I think it would be hilarious. Like, even just to go to an event dressed as Mrs. Roper, like, come on. How fun would that be?
It would be awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder if they do that in around us. They might.
We should look, Carrie, because honestly, it makes me so happy. So it's so silly, but it's just, I've had so much Three's Company in my life in like a week that I've just, and pictures of different episodes, because it's not streaming anywhere that I can get Three's Company. So I can't watch it anywhere. These are kind of the next best thing. And it just, I mean, really, I don't need to watch them. I could rhyme them probably all off from heart, but yeah, it's kind of fun.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. So that's brought me a lot of happiness.
Good pixie dust. That's good joy.
It is. Although I will tell you that when we're talking line for line and people are putting, like, when you see them in black and white, you're like, I can't believe they got away with some of this stuff.
That may be why it's not on stream.
But it's so funny. It's so funny. Like, I just love it.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome.
That was my pixie dust.
Love it.
All right, Carrie. Thank you again for recording with me this week. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks with all new info, topic.
We don't know what. We'll be here, though.
Years exactly.
So we don't forget now that we got this window in between.
I know, that's the only thing, right? This whole scheduling thing. Yeah. But we're good. We got it. All right. So we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.